Hello student, I'm Mr. Liang. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the worksheet number 2. That's the whole digestive system, okay, the whole process of the digestion. So before we go into the questions, I would like to recall some key points of the digestive system. So remember that we have the alimentary canal and we also have the digestive gland, which can secrete the digestive juice. So particularly, I would like to talk about the gastric juice, which is the one and only one acidic digestive juice, okay, among the saliva, bowel juice, pancreatic juice, and intestinal juice. And also for the bowel juice, and it's also very special because that's the one and only one digestive juice which does not contain any enzyme. So that's why the digestion, okay, performed by the bowel juice should be the physical digestion, okay, only break it down into small pieces, okay, so make it a small fat droplet. So that's for the bowel juice. And also bowel juice is produced by the liver and stored temporarily in the gallbladder. So that's also something special I would like to talk about. So for the whole summary table, I think that when you do the revision, so you can make your own table or refer to the summary table in the textbook. So for the question 1, so for this human alimentary canal, so remember, grab the chance to spell all the organs, please. Okay, esophagus, stomach, liver, gallbladder, something. Okay, so for the part A is that state 2 reasons why the secretion of F is acidic. So organ F is the stomach. Okay, so why the secretion of the stomach is acidic? So don't misunderstand the question. Okay, actually this question is not talking about what does the gastric juice contains to make it to become acidic. Okay, so that's why maybe some students misunderstood that and answer like because the gastric juice contains hydrochloric acid, so that's why it's acidic. So you may just give me one reason, but actually I'm looking for 2 reasons, because the question is asking why it should be acidic, or how is it so important to be acidic. So that's why the gastric juice is acidic. The first reason is to kill the bacteria entering from the mouth, for example the food, okay, or anything we drink, something like this. And also the hydrochloric acid in the gastric juice can also provide an acidic medium, okay, acidic environment for the enzymes to work on, for the protease, okay, working in the gastric juice, okay, so they can work in a optimum or a suitable pH, okay. And for the question B is that because we know that the gastric juice is acidic, but the cells lining of the stomach, okay, the inner wall of the stomach, okay, is not destroyed by the acidic secretion. Why? Because the cells lining of the stomach, the inner wall, they can also secrete the mucus, okay, to protect itself. So that's why the mucus lining of the stomach, it will form a protective covering or protective coat to prevent the action of the acid, okay, to prevent it from being destroyed by itself. So that's for the function of the stomach. So, and then for question 2 is talking about the juice X collected from the gallbladder. So as what I say in the summary table, okay, most of you can recall that in the gallbladder, what we have the bowel juice, okay, is temporarily stored in the gallbladder. So and then we extract it and then do the following experiment. The first experiment is that we put the bowel juice to the pH paper to test it, okay, to test the nature, to test the pH, okay, of the bowel juice. And then for the second and third one is that part of it, okay, we add it to the oil and then maybe stir it, shake it, okay. And the other concept is that we boil the bile juice, okay, and then also add it to the oil, okay, and let's see what will happen. So for this part, name the juice X, where is it produced, and state the exact region of the alimentary canal to which the juice would be discharged. Discharged, that means to be released. Okay, so that means where will be the bile juice released, okay, and where is it produced. Question 2 and question 3, they are totally different, okay, and actually I asked you these two questions because just make sure that you misunderstood it or not, okay, so I don't think you will misunderstand it because I have just mentioned it maybe 5 minutes ago. So A1 bile juice, A2 liver, and then the exact region of the bile juice being discharged, that's the duodenum, okay, so that's for the part A. And then for part B is that state the final color of the pH paper in text A. So because all of us know that the bile juice is alkaline, okay, so at least, okay, we know it first, and then you may not know much about the pH paper, so I recommend one for you. There is a common pH paper used. It is called litmus paper, and there are two types of the litmus paper. One is blue and one is red, because we use the blue litmus paper to test for acid, and for the using the red litmus paper for test of the alkali. So that's why if you know that the bile juice is alkaline, which one you should use? Okay, I think you should use the red litmus paper to test for alkali, right? And if alkali is present, it will turn from red to blue, and then you can observe something, right? Okay, and if the solution you test is acidic, so that's why it will remain red. So answer very easy, okay, blue, from red to blue, okay, from red to blue. And the reason is that because the bile juice, it contains the sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is alkali, so that's why the bile juice itself is alkali, okay. So and actually I would like to talk about part C. The experiment C is saying that we boil the bile juice, okay, and then we add it to the oil, okay, and actually the result, okay, is that we can still find the tiny oil droplets. That means the bile, it can still work, because bile juice is the one and only one digestive juice, it doesn't contain enzyme. So that's why even we boil it, it will not affect its function at all, okay, no enzyme, no denature, okay, there is just bile salt, sodium hydrogen carbonate, and bile pigment, and water in the bile juice. So that's why it will not affect the function, okay, by being boiled for a long time, okay. So and then for question 3 is that we have the alimentary canal now, okay, part 1 stomach, part 2 duodenum, and for the X, okay, gallbladder, okay. So we call the function of the gallbladder. If you forget about it, okay, so just check the textbook, okay. So due to the disease, organ X of the patient has to be removed, okay, maybe there is a gallstone to block the gallbladder, okay. So what's the name and source of the fluid inside the organ? Don't misunderstand the question. Some of the students, they just cannot read the question carefully, or they name and then organ, oh, gallbladder. Wrong. The question is not asking the name of the organ, it's asking the name of the juice, the source of the juice inside the organ, okay, inside the gallbladder. What is the juice name, okay, and where is it produced, and then what is the function of the organ X, okay, the function of the gallbladder. So that's why the juice, bile juice, secreted from the liver, okay, the source of the fluid, right, okay, and the organ X, okay, the function, it can temporarily store the bile, okay, secreted by the liver, okay. So you can refer to the bile juice triangle. Remember, we have the bile juice triangle, tooth decay triangle, pancreatic juice triangle, okay, we have a lot of triangles in this chapter, okay, to visualize the concept for you, okay. And then for part C is talking about a daily life case, okay. Remember, in biology, as the video I make before, I always claim that biology, okay, actually we need to think, but not just remember, okay. It's not a subject merely we need memory, okay. We also need our brain to think, okay. So that's why we need to put our knowledge to the daily life case. So the question is asking, the doctor of the patient recommends that the patient should avoid food containing too much fat if the gallbladder is removed. So you need to explain to me. So at least what you need to think about, what you need to think first is that what is the function of the gallbladder. So that's the part B, right? Okay, it gives you some hints already. If you can refer to the function of the gallbladder, you will know that if it is removed, what should be the consequence. So the idea is that the function of the bile juice, okay, is to emulsify the fat into small oil droplet, and then the small oil droplet will have a larger surface area to volume ratio for the lipase to work on, and the lipase is in the pancreatic juice secreted by the pancreas, right? Okay, so remember that even the question is just talking about the gallbladder, but actually it can be related to other digestive gland, okay, in the digestive system. And then removal of the gallbladder, we call the function of the gallbladder, okay. The function of the gallbladder is to temporarily store the bile juice produced by the liver. So that's why removal of the gallbladder would result in small amounts of bile juice being continuously released from the liver to the duodenum, because we cannot store the bile juice temporarily at all, because the gallbladder is gone. So that's why the liver will keep producing and releasing the bile juice to the duodenum. And once we eat too much fatty food, okay, so that's why maybe the fried chicken, fried pork chop, something like this, barbecue pork chop, okay, so that's why there will be insufficient bile juice, okay, to mix with the fat. So that's why it would lead to incomplete digestion of the fat due to the insufficient droplet, oil droplet are formed. The surface area is still too high, too large. So that's why the lipase cannot work on the fat so efficiently. So maybe the final result is that there will be incomplete digestion of the fat. And after the incomplete digestion of the fat, so actually, as what I mentioned in previous video, we cannot absorb the fat at all, and that will be the result. We shall ingest the oily feces, okay, the feces containing too much fat, okay. So that's the daily life example we need to know, okay. So if you have any question, leave it below. I will answer you as soon as possible. See you next time. Bye bye.